Hello everybody, welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Oana.
So we are going to talk about the escalation clause and why it may not be that such of a great idea that you have been pitched. Okay, so let's first start with what is an escalation, what is it? What are they talking about?
Okay, so the short story, an escalation clause is if I say, well, my best offer to you is 2 bananas, but if somebody offers you more than 2 bananas, let me know because I'll give you 2 bananas and an apple. So, so the short story is whatever your highest and best offer is, I will match it and add a little more to the pot.
So the goal is like you're just trying to snipe a property, right? Mm-hmm. You're trying to say, hey, I'll be your best offer by $500, right. And I have my max of X. I won't go above that. And there's a problem with it, okay? So I'm in a Facebook group and I see this agent says, hey, I got 12 offers on a property. Ready for this? 5 of them have escalation clauses. So how does that even work? If you're saying you'll beat the best offer, then you have 5 people all saying they'll beat the best offer by a certain amount. So how does that even work?
Right. So the bottom line is I don't think it works. I think it's kind of a race to the bottom rather than a race to the top. Because what you're doing is you are encouraging people to not put their best foot forward. So for example, if I'm willing to pay $400,000 for a house, I might offer you maybe $370 and say, well, I'll have a $5,000 escalation clause. So if you get an offer that's better than mine, I'll beat it by $5,000. But I would have paid $400 for the house, right? So now maybe I'll get the house for $485. I'm sorry, for $385 rather than $400. So it really benefits the buyer in that way. It doesn't benefit the seller. And then the flip side of that for the buyer is it doesn't benefit the buyer either because you may end up saying, okay, well, I'll beat any offer by $5,000. That's great. So now you get the house, but now the house doesn't appraise because you had this bidding war that was unreasonable. The house doesn't appraise. So now you have to either go back and renegotiate, which that seller will not renegotiate because they had multiple offers and they went through all this craziness with you. And second of all, now you may have to just come up with the cash out of pocket. And the bottom line is you may be paying considerably more for that house than what it's worth. So be very careful with that, both if you're the seller or if you're the buyer, because my opinion is that it benefits neither, and it's just bad policy to go in that direction rather than telling everybody, hey, give me your highest and best offer and stick with it. That way we all know where we are. Yeah,
and just so you know, this is not legal advice, it's just practical experience. Between us, we sold over 3,000 listing sides. We've seen tens of thousands of offers coming through. We've seen these offers with escalation clauses. There are some states they're not considered valid offers. So any real estate broker will tell their client it's not a valid offer. We're not allowed to do that because we have to inherently expose other offers, and they're not allowed to do that in some states, right? Here's another problem with it. Let's say that the house is listed for $375 and you say, well, I'll pay up to $410 and I'll go over by $1,000. You've just exposed you're willing to pay $410. And what the seller may do is say, well, agent, just counter him back at $410. Just tell him he can have it for $410. Now, you probably go back and say, wait, no, I don't want to counter at $410. I just want to beat your next best offer by $1,000. And they go, well, we're countering at $410. If you want it, just sign the counter offer. And you're in a bad situation because you can't force them to give you the other offer. You just have to, game theory now, right? Imperfect information. You just have to assume that that's what they're going to sell the house to you for. And then the other problem is you've bid up the house so high, like Wanda said, you may not get an appraisal on it. So now you push yourself out of the range. And even if you say, well, I need proof that somebody made an offer, well, they can just go get a friend and say, hey, write me an offer for $409. Just write it, send it over so I can send it and go, hey, look, here, I have an offer for $409. And the other problem is if you're the seller and you accept it, is they may go back and go, oh, I didn't realize it was going to be that much. I just won't open escrow. Now I don't want the house anymore. So you've exposed your best offer to somebody and they don't even move forward with the purchase.
Right. And then in the meantime, there may have been a really good offer that they got rejected because you were moving forward with this other offer, and when they got rejected, they went out and bought another house.
Yeah.
So now you didn't sell a house to the guy for 410 and the guy for maybe 405 isn't going to buy your house because they've already bought another house.
Yeah.
So as a seller, it really doesn't put you in a great position. I realize that it's a hot market, and you might say, well, but that's okay. I'll just sell it tomorrow to somebody else, and that could very well be. However, in our experience, the offers that you get at the beginning of your listing are the best offers. The longer your house is on the market, the less money you get for it. So keep that in mind when you're trying to game the system.
Yeah. The other thing is, I've had real estate agents say, well, my clients always get it because I use this escalation clause. And there's no statistical proof that they actually work. Back when we did the REOs, they were actually, most of the banks wouldn't even consider them. We would go, hey, I'm trying to put in their offer in the portal, but it's an escalation clause in there. And they would say, hey, we're told, like Fannie, Freddie, all these national banks, we can't, we like legally, our legal counsel's telling us if we get an escalation clause, we have to disregard it. It's not a valid offer because we can't consider it. Like we don't even want to hear about it. Like you can send it to us, we'll just reject it. Like don't put it in the portal. And then what if you have 2 or 3 agents? Like here's the bottom line. If 12 people make an offer, only one person is going to get the house. So your escalation clause is not necessarily going to win you the property.
Right. So our best advice is put your best foot forward, both as a buyer and a seller. Deal honestly with each other, and the outcome will be positive for all concerned.
Yep. If you made it to the end of the video, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if there's any video that you want to see us do, just put it down in the comments. Say, hey, could you do a video talking about this one thing? And anything else.
Send us messages. We love to interact with you. We like it when it's a two-way conversation.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.